Today is Tuesday, November 12th, and you are looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq. And what we see here is the Nasdaq, after a big run last week and towards the end of the week here, you could see the big run, and now it's just kind of going sideways the last three sessions. And what's going on is just digesting gains. It's like having a big Thanksgiving dinner, and then you sit on the couch and watch football. Here, you're feasting through this big move here, and now it's just digest, watch the Cowboys lose or whatever. The Lions win, Cowboys win, Lions lose. Anyway, that's what the indexes are doing after a big move. They're just digesting gains, which is healthy. You can see the index was down, flat on this session, essentially down 17 points, 0.09%. The volume is still, above average volume. So a lot of trading going on, a lot of interest in stocks right now since the elections. Anyway, the Nasdaq, this is healthy action after a big move. You don't want to see, at least I don't want to see it just come crashing back down, giving back all those gains. This is allowing the moving averages to catch up. You can see the 21 EMA is 3.3% above the 21, and it's 6.3% above the 50. And yesterday, I believe it was 6.6, 6.7 on Friday. So you get the idea. It's just starting to, 6.9 last Thursday, and that was the last big move. And it just allows these moving averages to catch up. And so this is healthy action for the Nasdaq. Doesn't really matter if it makes it higher, if it comes down a little bit. I mean, this is just trading flat and digesting gains. So very healthy action for the Nasdaq. The SPY is similar action here. This is 4.2% above the 50, so not as stretched as the Nasdaq. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, 4% above the 50. So yeah, they're all just kind of doing the same thing. Just after the big move, digesting gains in one fashion or another. No, big moves one way or the other. So that's healthy. The digestion is healthy. I'm going to go to the RU. Oh no, I better go to the IWM and take a look at this. They're getting tailwinds. These small caps tailwinds from the lower interest rates. This is 7.6% above the 50 there. So it's sideways is good. Close that gap from yesterday, so it's all healthy. It looks like good, healthy action to me after a big move. Nothing earth-shattering, no red flags or anything like that. So anyway, I'm going to move on to stocks because I like trading stocks. Not really the indexes, but it is nice to have the indexes at our back. And the first stock I want to look at here is Meta Platforms. This is one that I have on my ready list. I was getting ready to buy this today. You can see it's kind of traded above its downtrending line here. But I was looking at it today on a 5-minute chart, and it was really ramping in the morning. I was getting ready to buy it, but I wanted to see its daily range. And so I think it was about a half hour into the session, it just started crashing. 20 minutes into the session, it just started crashing. That's not good action. That's not something I want to buy. I want to buy strength, after a dip here, maybe a pop, that I can buy. But anyway, I guess it was the President-elect Trump said something about TikTok, and that spooked investors, and it sold off. Still finished up a buck or and change, but yeah, I like buying strength. And I still think this looks good. Above average volume today. It was flat on the session, but I still I like it close to 10. Obviously, it's shown the ability to move, but it's trading tight within a base near its moving average. So it's got a lot of the components that I like to see in a stock. So this thing's, to me, I think it's getting ready to move higher, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, you don't like it when I don't like it when politics bleeds into the your investments, but you can't help it with Tesla. I mean, because the CEO is a political a figure now. So that's not going to change. The low of the session today was 323.31. So it filled that gap from yesterday of 328.71. So that's a healthy move. Still, way above its moving averages here, 11.5% above the 10. So, you know, I would expect a little more consolidation here and allow the moving averages to catch up. But it has been a really strong stock. It made a high yesterday of what, 358, closed today at 328, $30 off. So uh, Tesla looks and good. And when you're talking about political figures, you got to kind of figure out who they like and who they don't like. I don't think he's not on I think he's on the naughty list, and NVIDIA Jensen's on the nice list because they want Jensen's equipment. So Jensen's in a pretty good position here. NVIDIA, they report earnings next Wednesday. They're not going to deliver, triple digit growth, but they're going to deliver a strong quarter. And all I have to do is beat expectations and raise guidance going forward. That's all. No pressure. But this artificial intelligence revolution is not going to go without NVIDIA. So even if they have a good report and it sells off a little bit, it'll probably be a dip to buy. So I'm looking for that. Still have this one on the radar list because if you got it at 100, great, and you could sit through earnings, no problem. If you got it at 120, great, you could sit through with it, being pretty comfortable. But if you're up here buying it at 140, I mean, it's a lot tougher to sit through next week's earnings. I doubt if this thing's going to really ramp ahead of the print. But anyway, that's it for the Magnificent Seven. I'm going to move on because we had earnings this morning, and a couple names I want to get to. One is Home Depot, showing a little more sales growth than it has in the past. I don't know how the hurricanes are going to affect this for the next quarter, but Home Depot, pretty strong report and muted reaction. You can't really go by the reactions on earnings day. You got to wait for some time for the institutions to sift out the numbers and really make a move. I've seen stocks like TGTX reported last Monday. Granted, this is before the election, but what did it do? I mean, it reported and just immediately shook people out down to the 50, and now it's been up, every day since. So that was the initial move. You go, gosh, this thing sucks. It reported earnings and it, went down. I don't want any part of that. That's this move here. Big gap down, and now it's just been straight up ever since because institutions know that they're going to be delivering good earnings quarter after quarter after quarter after year with their drug patent until 2039, best in show, unless somebody comes up with something better, which is always a possibility. SE reported today. Now, this one gapped higher and then closed at the low of the day, which is not really something that I like to see. If I own the stock, there's your gap higher, just selling all day. So that puts the gap in play. I don't want the gap to be in play. Right there, the high from Monday was 98.22. The low today 107.19. Yeah, just closed a tick above it. So anyway, we'll be watching that one. Shopify reported nice report here. You can see triple digit earnings growth, accelerating sales growth. Nice day. Closed at 34% of the daily range. Once again, you want to see it in that upper half, but man, look at that volume come in on a 21% move. Can't cry about that. That's a breakout power from that pivot point right there, 91.57. So let's take a look at the weekly on Shopify. Yeah, just a clean breakout from that base. So Shopify looks fantastic. The On Holdings reported very good report. The sales numbers 23, 27, 43, which is want to see. Earnings not what you really want to see, but this thing just pulled back to its 10. And I think it's gonna bounce off that level here. You can see the moving average of the 10 just crossed over the 21 and the 50. And this one bounced off the 10 and it had a 48% of its daily range. So keep an eye on that one. Made a new high today of $54, right? So let's see it get over that level here. in the next couple sessions or next week. And keep an eye on holdings ONON. CAMT, this one, CAMTech, reported trying to bust out of this stage one base, or got rejected at the 200, closed at 47% of its daily range. A decent report there. You can see the accelerating sales growth, 34, 39, 40. That's what you want to see, if you own the stock. MIRM, this is a biotech stock, and this one's just sitting at the top of its pivot point here. That looks pretty good. You know, this second stage base, that looks pretty good, pharmaceuticals. And the last one, I believe, AXSM, you can't go by the report really, you got to go by the reaction. These are pretty good reactions from the last two, up 9%. Let's take a look at the weekly here. Yeah, it's a nice cup with handle pattern. 39 weeks in the base, 35% depth. AXSM Therapeutics looks fantastic. Anyway, that's it for the earnings. I'm gonna move on because I got to go to yesterday. The cryptocurrency stocks were in vogue and everybody's buying them, and we're going to the moon and all that jazz. And all the retail folks are jumping on, but today they rotated back into the software names. And I'm going to show you a couple. This is Twilio, broke out. This is why, I monitor these breakouts from the base, right? Breaking out of a stage one base is trading higher, up 4.5% in two sessions this week. 2 weeks ago, it was up, 20%. Last week, it was up 9%. So this thing's just grinding higher. Twilio looks fantastic. Finally got some growth numbers going here for that stock. GoDaddy, this is one of my favorite stocks here. I love the chart action. I love the breakout. It's got the ability to move higher, don't you think? Move higher, consolidate, move higher, consolidate, move higher, form a base. And now just breaking out to new highs, up 5%. This week, last week, it was up, 9%. So GoDaddy is, yeah, Daddy is going. So that one looks like it's got a magnet for 200. I like the looks of that one. AppLove, and I talked about this one yesterday. I think, if you hold this, I would say the ideal thing would be go sideways for a couple of weeks, just form a 3 weeks tight pattern or something. I can't expect it to really go much higher. It's still, what, 48% above the 21 and 26.5% above the 10. So that thing needs to just calm down and allow the moving averages to catch up. And if the meat's off the bone on this trade, obviously. The upside is probably 300, and the downside is, down to that 10's 228. So, you're looking at it, 10 point up, 60 point down, I don't like the risk reward on this one. I do like the stock though. And let's just, for hypotheticals, say you bought this thing at 90 right there. Let's just say you bought 100 shares at $9,000 and it ran up to, 300 and it's 30,000. Take the 9,000 off at least and just play with house money, which is still a lot of money, right? 21 grand. It's never house money. It's always your money. I hate that expression. And you never want to lose your money. But if you looked at it from that perspective, it's a lot easier to hold and allow this thing to come in. A cushion is a wonderful thing in a leading stock like Apple. Yeah, if you have cushion in that, then you can sit around and afford to hold it. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to sell it. You can just let it hang, let it do its thing. And I think it's going to form a little base here, a little shelf or a 3 weeks tight or something before moving higher. It needs to consolidate a little bit. Anyway, that's it for AppLovin. TOST, man, I'm seeing these more often when I'm paying at the register. Another new high today. This one looks good too. Here up $40 now. Broke out of this, stage one base consolidation, just ripping higher. Toast, that one looks good. Finance, a credit card payment stock. Not really a software name, but I'm just kind of throwing these all together because I have some other areas that I want to get to. This is Wix. Broke out of consolidation today. Now they report next week, same day as NVDA, but that's definitely a clear breakout. Power from the pivot here. So you gotta like that move there, 179. Yeah, dummy. I should have had that on the ready list this week, but I didn't. And oh well. I'm gonna have to do a couple push-ups or something or run some laps. Um Fortinet, this one, man, this cybersecurity name pulled back, had that, that bull wedge pattern that we've seen back to the 50. Now it's just up every day, just blasting hard. Definitely, I'm going to see if that 100 level, provides some resistance. Say down, to come down here and just usually they knock up against it a couple times before they blast through and allow these moving averages to catch up. So if it gets rejected there, that's not the end of the world. That's actually expected behavior. Hubs, HubSpot, they reported last week, but this is still in a base. I mean, it just depends how you look at things, if it did trade above its downtrending line here, broke out last week, like a lot of stocks did, after the election, but it's been up, what, 5 or 6 days in a row with heavy, heavy volume. And now it's near that buy point of 690, 285. It's like, man, why didn't I just buy it here? Why did I wait there? Because it's more like insurance. And I would expect this one to, boy, that's a beautiful looking chart, to just kind of, trade sideways a little bit, because you're going to have some profit taking after a move like that. I mean, if it stands to reason, 524 to 700, somebody's going to say, hey, take some profits and go buy NVIDIA or something. Anyway, that's it for the software names. They're awfully, awfully strong. I mentioned the cryptocurrency or the digital currency. This is Michael Saylor's company, and he's doing a media slam. He's everywhere on the media. I've been hearing him talk. He did say that he keeps buying Bitcoin, but that the Bitcoin mining is going to be the golden era here from 2024 to 2034, and he knows what he's talking about. And a lot of people think, "Wow, man, I missed the Bitcoin era," and I don't think so. And he's saying it's early and you could still get in and do well, but Bitcoin is trading near what, 90,000? Yeah. So there's your breakout a couple weeks ago, and now, man, the last 2 weeks, this thing's just been smoking. All right. A couple others in the group that not faring quite as well. This is a Coinbase, just had an inside day today. You could see it broke out yesterday, power through the pivot once again, that 283.48. I was watching today to see if it would come back and undercut, but it didn't. So I'll still be watching for that. It could certainly still do that. The low of the session is 296. So it's got a gap there from 273 to 296. But if it stays above that level there, I kind of like that 296 area, and the low today wasn't that close, 306, so $10 above. Fast moving stock. But yeah, still watching that one. Robin Hood, gap higher, now pulled back into the gap zone. Probably fill that gap at 30.63. No big deal. Allow the moving averages to catch up. That one looks good. And then I'm starting to see some of these crazy moves that I don't really like to see. This is a 316% move in BTC Digital. We saw a crazy move last week in Sezzle, the Snoop Dogg stock for Shizzle, Sezzle. Anyway, oh man, this is a crazy move. Let's see what the weekly move was on this. I mean, this did App loving you 100% in a week. So yeah, that's when the market's hot, and we don't want it to get too hot. So the sideways action is good. Anyway, just wanted to point that out. There's some wild stuff going on in the market, and I kind of stay away from stuff that gets a little too hot. That stuff scares me because what goes up fast comes down fast. This is my boomer trade. The boomers are out spending, man. They're living their best life, taking their distributions from their 401ks and just traveling and going on cruises and dining and flying around the world. And that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. You got to spend it while you got it, because once you're on the other side, there's no more spending. Anyway, That one broke out from an IPO base 37.25 and is not looking back. So you think, oh man, how can I buy this? Well, you could, hold your nose and close your eyes and buy it and hope it goes higher. But man, it's pretty tough for me to buy something, even though it's ripping like that at 45.96 was the high today. It's right near the high, 89% of the daily range. But it did give you 1 day, 2 days here, went sideways last week. So that's about it. Maybe wait for one of those so you don't get discouraged when you're underwater, when it pulls back a little. All right. So the other one in this group is a Wyndham Hotels, another one of these, travel, stay in the hotel. I don't think people are staying in Airbnbs as much anymore. They're going to hotels. This is Wyndham, broke out recently and traded higher. We have a really nice one down the street here where my wife goes to get massages and whatever. Really nice spa. Wyndham is a very nice lodge. And what's the other one? Oh, Marriott. Marriott, boy, yep, okay. Double bottom base pattern there. Pull back, man. How many times have we seen this thing? So this is what I mean when, dips are being bought. Was that dip bought? Oh, yeah. So dips are being bought in this market. Uptrending markets, they usually are with, decent stocks. There's your double bottom base pattern, a little 3 weeks tight. There's your pullback to the moving average and the trade higher for Marriott International. I mean, there's a lot of them in this group here making new highs. It's just a theme, right? Like the weight loss drug themes. This is the boomer, I'm getting out of town theme. All right, anyway, enough with that. I did mention the drugs and I did mention TGTX. This one's making new highs today. Really I don't know how to say this properly. They're going to report, strong earnings for a long time. It's going to be gradual though. The CEO said, they have a blockbuster drug, which I believe they do, but it's not going to go from 300 million to a billion to 2 billion, in a couple of quarters. It's going to take some time for them to execute, get more patience. But this one broke out of the base, made a new high today. Let's check out this 5-minute chart. Looks like it kind of faltered into the close. Okay, so it looks like a little short covering and now profit taking into the afternoon. So TG looks fantastic though. Amgen had a news on their weight loss drug and no bueno, and it's down 7%. So that when I see something like that, it always makes me think of some of the other competition and they're down too. NVO, I think they were all down, right? Yeah. I don't know. Amgen was a big drag today. Anyway, a couple other biotech names. This is WGS Gene DX Holdings, and I'm just pointing this out because of the pattern here, which we've seen so often recently, where it's pulling back to its 10, kind of a bull wedge pattern after the breakout. It did the same thing here. It pulled back to a moving average and blasted higher. Now it's flagging. So we'll see if that wedge pattern proves fruitful here. Fruitful, easy for me to say, in the near future. And this is ADMA. They reported earnings. They had oh boy, they had accounting issues and it sold off. And I do not deal with accounting issues because I don't need to own something with accounting issues. I could buy something that I know the accounting's up front. So they had this big sell-off when it was reported they had accounting issues, down 16%. I just kind of traded sideways until they reported earnings, right? Gapped higher and now made a big move. It's Friday, I guess. Yeah, oh well. So anyway, ADMA blasted through the 50, got up to 18% above the 10. Now it's just pulling back, allowing the moving averages to catch up. They signed with KPMG, which is one of the top 4 accounting firms. So I think their numbers are legit, ADMA, and I really like their products, and so I really like the stock. And of course, the numbers were phenomenal. But if they're not legit, then it's hard to invest in something that's not legit. You can get burned that way. I've been burned that way before, so I like to be a little cautious. That's all. Um, okay, I'm going to move on from drugs to medical product stock. Intuitive Surgical, another one that pulled back to its moving average, and then found support and bounced. That's a nice little move. To surgical, one of the stronger, names in that area. Stryker, SYK, this is the the body part company. Yeah, they make implants, orthopedic implants, I think hips, knees, and all that stuff. It says spinal. Yeah, anyway, cup with handle pattern, now breaking higher. That one looks good. What was the other one that I want to look at in here? Oh, yeah, SMLR. And I got to be honest with you, I don't know what this thing does. I just noticed, when you see these kind of moves, once again, this kind of stuff scares me a little bit. It just broke out, boom, boom, boom. Kind of like, what was it, 30% here, like app loving, once they move like that. That's a nice breakout though from a stage one base. Watching similar scientific, have no idea what they do. All right. Okay. Now today we had, I don't know if you'd call it bad news. The CEO said that their digital, what their, no, excuse me, their turbines, they're going to pause on them because of, I don't know, they're cautious. That's all. Seemed kind of like propaganda, but when your stock goes down 7%, that hurts no matter what the news is. The CEO did say that, they might cut back on spending until they get a better environment. I don't know what kind of environment he's expecting, but anyway. That's GEV. So it knocked down all of the energy stocks. Excuse me, Vistra, VST. This one just pulled back to its, if I go to change moving averages, if you will, here, strong stocks, will get support at their 5. This thing pulled back to its 5 today of what was it, 138.42. It pulled back to 137 and closed at 142. So it hit the 5 and bounced. So that might be all you get there, folks. When strong stocks are moving, they're not going to just wait for you and come down all pretty down to the 10 or make a pretty little cup with handle base. Sometimes that's all you get. There's a little pullback there. It did pull back to its 50, ripped higher, and today's the one day that it pulled back. It wouldn't surprise me in this market that's so strong, a stock like this, a leading stock, in a pretty strong group, that if that's your chance and it's going to trade higher and make new highs. That would be my guess anyway. That news today is not going to be lasting. Constellation Energy, this is a laggard in the group now. It ripped higher, but then it sold off on earnings. And once it's under the 50, it's adios muchachos for me. You can buy better stocks. That's why you can buy stocks that are trading higher above their moving averages, and you don't have to buy a laggard. This is Talon Energy. Once again, pull back to the 5 like VST. So those two are showing similar characteristics. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Today was, a good digestion day. The last 3 days actually have been. So I'm going to leave with that, and except for in honor of the great Steve Jobs, I have one more thing, and that is earnings tonight. We have lots of earnings tonight and tomorrow. Still in earnings season here, and they're really moving the stocks. This is Spotify, one of those computer software media names, and this thing to me is like it's like Netflix, back in 2010. This thing is just a monster stock. You know, I talk to a lot of people who say, two things I'm not going to cancel: Netflix and Spotify. If things get tough. Anyway, I don't belong to Spotify, but excuse me, I do. I signed up because Mike Webster put his playlist on there. So I don't know what it is, $10 a month. It's not much, but I very rarely ever go there unless he sends me some stuff. But anyway, Spotify, nice move after hours, and that I'm not going to say it's going to help the entire software complex. It is an 83 billion market cap. It's not going to hurt, put it that way. It looks good for Spotify. FLUT is Flutter Entertainment, leisure gaming equipment. Gosh, consolidating in a base nicely there and then popping 6% after hours. That looks good. Darn, missed it. Maple Bear or CART, cart. Down 3.5%. Okay, I thought they'd do a little better after, I saw DoorDash last, 2 weeks ago, whatever. DoorDash, this is my favorite chart. I got to show this every day. This is very seductive to me. Anyway, up 10 weeks in a row, so I'm kind of a front runner. I like stocks that go higher. SWKS, beautiful looking chart though, man. DoorDash. Oh boy, this I believe. I better not talk out of turn there. I thought they were an Apple supplier. Maybe not. Oh gosh, that is ouch. That hurts my eyes to look at that. Ooh, I hope nobody owns that. And then the last one is CAVA. This one was ripping after hours. Yeah, 163, 165, 14% move. I did peek at their earnings and they were really nice same store sales. They're opening more stores, just beat on all metrics. CAVA is a real leader. I told you about I'm putting this IPO thing together for different time frames. And this is within, the 2 years time frame. It's been out since when, what, summer of 23. So close to getting to a year and a half, 18 months. And so this is one of those, institutional due diligence phase until it's not. And this is when it reaches its advanced phase, when it breaks out of this IPO base, it just formed that little handle. And since then, it's just been give you a little chance here and then boom, man. It does not give you much of a chance to get in at all. Really strong stock. There's that one move there below the 50, pull back to the 21. And now before earnings, it pulled back to the 21. Tough to buy in front of, earnings, but it's a leader, in that group. And whenever I say that, I got it. Yeah, this one's the one with it's got the Lord on its side, Lord Abbott. Look at all these growth funds that want a piece of this name now. Some of these have been selling recently, and they're probably buying back and after hours here. That's somebody's buying that name. Anyway, we'll be looking for Kava tomorrow. Thank you for watching. At mcstockcharts.com, we never give up. Thank you for watching.